Hi everyone, it's already July and I want to do a little video talking about some of the movies that I've liked so far this year. Over the last 6 months I've skipped a lot of movies, only a few of which were really interesting to me, most of them weren't. A couple movies that I haven't seen yet, the Jim Jarmusch film Only Lovers Left Alive, the Jude Law comedy Dom Hemingway, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's latest film, Sabotage, actually. I was kind of interested in that one, but I skipped them for whatever reason, just didn't want to see them enough to make the effort. Since July started, there have actually been a couple of movies that I'm very interested in that have come out. Begin Again with Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley, and Snowpiercer, that's another movie that I'm interested in. But as far as the first 6 months of the year, the last movie that I went to see in the theater was a drama by Paul Haggis called Third Person, which I generally liked, but it got a little bit confusing at the end. I wasn't crazy about it, just because it seemed to like the ending seemed to suggest the entire movie was actually an adaptation of the book that Liam Neeson's character is writing, kind of like Seven Psychopaths or Adaptation. Yeah, it got pretty confused at the end, so not my favorite film by Paul Haggis. I did like In the Valley of Elah and The Next 3 Days with Russell Crowe, but this one not as much. Speaking of Liam Neeson, I also just rented Non-Stop recently, which I thought was a lot of fun. It's by the same director as the movie in which he has amnesia and thinks that he is somebody who he actually isn't. That's a really fun movie too. The Rover with Guy Pearce and Robert Pattinson. I like that movie quite a bit, set in Australia. 22 Jump Street came out, and before I actually went and watched 21 Jump Street like the day before. And they aren't my favorite movies, but I did laugh. The 22 Jump Street did make me laugh a fair amount, so that was cool. Night Moves is an independent drama by Kelly Reichardt, who did Wendy and Lucy, Jesse Eisenberg, and Peter Sarsgaard, and no, not, is it Dakota Fanning? Yeah, I think so. It's just weird to see her older now. It's very strange. The three of them, they get together to blow up a dam as like social protest, you know, eco-terrorism. So that one I liked. The Immigrant is a movie with Marion Cotillard and Joaquin Phoenix, and that was pretty good. The Fault in Our Stars, I watched that one. That was okay. There were a couple scenes in which I felt they overdid a little bit. There's a scene where our two heroes basically have their first kiss in the Anne Frank house, and everyone's clapping when they do it, and I thought this was really strange that they would like applaud, given the fact that they're all strangers and they don't know that it's their first kiss. Apparently that's the way it happens in the book too, so it's just like, eh. There was another scene which was really emotional, but it was spoiled by a little bit too much narration. Other than that, I thought it was pretty decent. In Secret is a movie with Elizabeth Olsen. It's based on the Therese Raquin book, and I like that one quite a bit. It's got a good dark movie. Who else is in it? Tom Felton and Oscar Isaac and Jessica Lange. Yeah, pretty decent. I've talked a lot about X-Men: Days of Future Past. Didn't like it nearly as much as I hoped. There was a movie based on a real-life true crime case in which 3 kids who dressed weird and were into heavy metal music were convicted of the murder of kids, which turned out not be the case. Anyway, it was done as a dramatization with Colin Firth and Reese Witherspoon as the main characters. Pretty dull movie, pretty darn dull. Didn't like that very much. One movie I did like quite a lot was Tom Hardy in Locke. He is pretty much the only guy on screen. He's driving and he's talking, trying to fix a lot of mistakes over the phone, a lot of problems over the phone. Real good movie. Like Tom Hardy a lot. He speaks a little strangely in this movie. I'm not really sure what's up with that, but I did like the film quite a bit. Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson as the alien who's seducing men. This is a movie directed by Jonathan Glazer, and it's a really good movie. Captain America, the new Captain America movie, that was really good. I really like Noah quite a lot as well. It's a strange movie, but I think it's one of Aronofsky's best movies, actually. I'd rank it alongside The Fountain as one of his best movies. Of course, a lot of people like The Wrestler and Black Swan more, and I don't like those movies as much, so my opinion differs from pretty much everyone on that. I saw Divergent, wasn't crazy about it. I like Shailene Woodley. I think she's good, but I just found the movie was a little bit too much like the Andrew Niccol science fiction movies, in which everything, the whole sort of environment, the futuristic setting is very, very sparse, I think, to save on budgetary reasons. Andrew Niccol directed Gattaca and In Time, and those movies are, you know, it's just really strange, basically, how empty his futures are. And this movie reminded me kind of that. One of my favorite movies I saw this year was Grand Budapest Hotel, also one of my favorite Wes Anderson movies. I liked 300, and I pretty much liked the sequel, 300, Rise of an Empire. Way too much slow motion, but I kind of got used to it. I didn't see it in 3D, so that was less annoying. All in all, not a bad movie. No, could have been terrible, but it actually was better than I thought it would be. Also better than I thought it would be, Pompeii. I like Pompeii. I like sort of the story behind it. This is a Paul W.S. Anderson movie. He did the Resident Evil films, and it turned out kind of differently than I expected it, and I liked it. It's not a great movie, but it's not nearly as bad as one would think. Two movies at the start of the year that I went to see. The Lego Movie was really good, and also August Osage County. I really liked that movie a lot. So those movies right there, along with Under the Skin, are strong contenders for my best of the year. But of course, fall comes around, and lots of really great stuff usually comes out in the fall, so they're going to have some stiff competition. Including Interstellar by Christopher Nolan, Inherent Vice by Paul Thomas Anderson, Gone Girl by David Fincher, and there's another Sin City movie by Robert Rodriguez. These are all movies I'm really pumped to see. Along with a movie that's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks called Boyhood by Richard Linklater. Very, very excited about that. Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm really excited about. Happy Christmas is a movie by Joe Swanberg, who did Drinking Buddies. Melanie Linsky and Anna Kendrick are in that movie. Map to the Stars is a new David Cronenberg movie. Seconds of Pleasure is a new Mike Figgis movie, which is from a script by Neil LaBute. Those are guys I really like. And Zero Theorem is a new Terry Gilliam film with Christoph Waltz. Couple of movies that I got caught up on that weren't 2014 movies, so I got caught up on video. It's a Disaster, which is an ensemble comedy with Julia Stiles and David Cross about a couple's brunch, and then they find out that some dirty bombs have been detonated a few miles away from them, and they have to stay in the house and possibly die. It's a really dark comedy. It's actually really, really funny. Escape from Tomorrow was the independent movie that was shot in secret in Disneyland. I saw that. That was really interesting. I finally got around to seeing Dread, which was Pete Travis's movie with Carl Urban as Dread, as opposed to the Stallone movie. I generally thought it was pretty decent, but it doesn't go really deep into the character of Dread, of course. I understand this is par for the course. He's sort of an unknowable type of person, always keeps his helmet on, even when he doesn't have to. It's fine. It's okay. Wasn't crazy about it. A movie that I've been waiting a really long time to see called Shortcut to Happiness. This is a movie that Alec Baldwin directed, although his name doesn't actually appear on the film, but he did direct it. It's based on the Devil and Daniel Webster story, only in this case, Daniel Webster is actually the guy who helps the main character rather than the main character himself. Anthony Hopkins plays Daniel Webster, and he becomes sort of Alec Baldwin's attorney when Alec Baldwin sells his soul for literary success to Satan, and then basically there's a trial at the end to see whether or not he really got what he asked for, what he bargained for in exchange for his soul. Jennifer Love Hewitt played Satan in the movie. And this had been not released for a really, really, really long time because there were issues involving where they got the money from to make it. Apparently it came from organized crime, some of it, I don't know, but nobody could see it for a really long time. Finally it got broadcast on cable, so I was able to check it out. Antiviral was the movie that Brandon Cronenberg directed, the son of David Cronenberg, and it was really disgusting, really, really gross movie. I didn't find it real pleasant at all. Closed Circuit is sort of a suspense thriller with Rebecca Hall and Eric Bana as a couple of attorneys representing a guy who's been accused of a terrorist bombing in London. Really good movie, liked it a lot. Also saw The East with Britt Marling and Alexander Skarsgård and Ellen Page. It's also about eco-terrorists, kind of like Night Moves. I got caught up with Troll 2 and the documentary about it called Best Worst Movie. That was lots of fun. Blue Caprice was about the Washington, D.C. shootings back in 2003. The main character is played by Isaiah Washington from Grey's Anatomy. That was really good. I saw the horror movie Mama with Jessica Chastain. I like that too, generally. Not my favorite type of genre movie, but it had its good points, and I like Jessica Chastain quite a bit. One I wanted to mention, In Your Eyes, which is a movie that Joss Whedon scripted but didn't direct himself. Didn't get released in theaters. Instead, I saw it on Vimeo. And it's basically about two people in different parts of the country who suddenly find they have this sort of psychic connection. They can actually talk, and the other person will hear them in their mind, and despite the fact they're separated by states and they don't know each other's phone numbers or what have you, or something like that. I think they eventually exchange numbers and talk on the phone for real, but they have this sort of connection, and then they sort of get in trouble in their own respective worlds and try to figure out a way to meet. It was okay, wasn't crazy about it, and it certainly didn't really feel like something that Joss Whedon actually did. Yeah, so I wouldn't go so far as to recommend it. But that's what I've seen so far in 2014. I'm looking forward to more stuff coming out, of course, as always. Thank you very much for watching, and my Facebook page is linked below if you'd like to comment or anything like that. That would be awesome. Take it easy, guys. Bye.